This is the Shadow 2 Elite, a vastly underrated boot currently on the market, and without a doubt, it has the craziest sole plate I've ever seen on a pair of FG boots. And real quick, I want to give a huge thanks to Under Armour for making this video possible. This is not a sponsored video, but they did send me out some gear as well as a few pair of boots to review. So thank you again, I really appreciate it. This is the Agility outsole or Soleplate. It is a unique feature of Under Armour and it is completely built around change of direction and agility. It is an insane sole plate. All of these studs are placed in really crazy angles, but that's not a bad thing. So every stud was designed and placed for a specific purpose. If you look at this sheet that they sent me out, you can tell that they put some thought into this boot, which is nice to hear. Every single stud is either meant for stability, acceleration, deceleration, change of movement, and you know, sometimes they're coupled together in this diagram, or maybe two studs are meant for that, but I still like that they've actually broken it down. I feel like most brands don't do this and they just give us a sole plate that might look a little bit crazier and they just don't tell us why. For those of you who care and value snapback, this boot has a ton of it. Personally, I don't think snapback matters at all, but for those of you who care, this has it. It is a super stiff composite carbon fiber insert on the bottom of this sole plate, and I think that in terms of snapback, this is the best boot I've ever seen of it. Now, you don't really see full carbon fiber inserts like this anymore, but it is cool to see that they have that as a feature. So for those of you who consider yourselves wingers and need speed boots and snapback on your boots, I mean, this is gonna be a boot you're gonna wanna pick up. So personally, I only wore this sole plate on grass. I was very nervous to wear it on turf just because of how aggressive it is and how the studs are shaped. You need a bit more give with this sole plate. It is an FG sole plate that I would recommend to only wear on FG because of that factor. Doesn't mean it's a bad sole plate, just means, hey, this is one you shouldn't wear on turf. Now, is there people who wear this boot on turf? Yes. Do I think they're crazy? Also, yes, I would not recommend it. And I even wore this on a kind of hard Sunday league pitch that was not really watered at all unless it rains outside, and I did get a lot of stud pressure, which I'll go into a bit later, but that's mostly because of the length of these studs, and you really want an actual grass pitch to play on that's half decently taken care of. So if you play high school, college, club, anywhere like that, you're gonna have no issue finding nice fields. Crap fields, not so much. Wouldn't wear these on those either. Now, this upper feels like a modern upper, and what I mean by that is it has a one-piece knit upper like Nike and Adidas and Puma do. It feels well constructed, and even though it is $225, it's still cheaper than most speed boots, and it does feel like it. It's not a boot that's new to the market and is upcharging to keep up with everybody else to prove that they're there. I feel like it's a fair price for the construction of this boot. Now, do I think any football boots ever should cost more than $150? No, but they do, and so I think it fits right in with a modern feeling boot. The knit upper itself is called IntelliKnit, and it's really just Under Armour's take on a knit football boot. I really don't think there's a lot you can do with knit boots and really make it better other than making it thinner and more lightweight, which seems Nike is going through. And I can't really say that it's good or bad. It does feel like it holds its shape a bit more than a lot of football boots do, and I had to wear this boot not unlaced necessarily, but very loosely laced, and it did not lose shape or stretch out. So that's at least good, knowing that this one-piece upper can actually do its job and remain as a one-piece upper that's not stretched out. The rest of the boot that's not knit, which is mostly the forefoot here and the toe box, that is going to be IntelliTouch skin or Exomesh, or kind of just a coating of Under Armour. Most boots seem to have their own names for coatings now. I really think it feels exactly like the X19.1. It feels exactly like this upper, and I'm not lying. I did not wear the X19.1 a lot, but I have worn it before, and I know how much of a cult classic this boot has become, especially some of these colorways. Like, I know this one's really popular, but there's just still people and professionals today who only like to wear this boot, and I understand that. But with how expensive these are to find now, this is not a bad alternative if you have grass pitches to play on. Like, this upper feels almost exactly the same. It's just slightly more waxy, and it's still even constructed almost the same exact way. So I don't think it's a copy, I just think it's a happy coincidence. So if you like the X19.1, this might be a boot that you could wear. The last piece of tech on this upper is going to be these silicone grip elements, and they're not really a game changer. If you want them to be a game changer, probably put them on a more high contact area. But maybe it's also to help with a little bit of durability with the eyelets ripping. I know one-piece knit uppers tend to have their eyelets rip here and there, so that's definitely gonna help. For how good these boots are on lockdown, I think makes sense. It's probably one of the best ever boots for lockdown I have worn. And when you have a boot that's built around speed and agility and changing directions, and I'll say it, a winger boot or a speed boot, this is what you want. This is a boot that's going to have your foot completely locked down the entire time while you're doing skill moves, cutting, crossing, all that stuff. It's really, really fantastic. I don't know if that kind of silicone element on the eyelets helps for lockdown, but whatever it is, this boot does a fantastic job. So size and fit and comfort, probably gonna be rolled into this as well, is where this boot struggles. And lengthwise, I went with my normal 9 US that I wear traditionally with most boots, and it was perfect. Widthwise is really where the issues began. And I was in a lot of pain wearing these. They do not stretch easily, which is not necessarily a bad thing if you have narrow feet. But for wide feet, I'm gonna recommend just don't buy these boots. And I wanna preface that it's not a bad boot, but I had to keep them unlaced or just barely tightened in order for me to be able to wear them for longer durations. Now, is that because this is a bad boot? No, not really. It's just because it's not meant for wide feet. When I had these boots tightened up and trained in them for an hour in a little bit of pain, I will say, I did not get any blisters. So if you have wide feet, I'm gonna tell you right now, just don't get this boot. Maybe the Magnetico 4 Elite, which they also sent out, is gonna be wider and more comfortable. I'm really hoping so, and we're gonna find that out in the next couple weeks. Comfort for the rest of the boot though was still great. I like the heel counter and the padding within the heel. It is a bit stiffer than most modern boots, but it still felt like it did the job and was comfortable when I had the boots laced up. The one-piece knit upper, this IntelliKnit, was okay. It just feels like a normal one-piece knit upper that's thicker, so not necessarily a bad thing. And then this IntelliTouch or Exo Mesh skin coating, whatever it is, I think it was great. I liked hitting shots with this boot a lot. They felt awesome. It does feel like the X19.1. I'm not just saying that. So I do think if you like the X19.1 and you have more narrow feet, definitely try this boot out. These boots seem pretty durable. I didn't wear them for the longest of time, probably 8-9 hours. But it was still enough time for me to see if the boot showed any signs of damage, and it has not. Now, I didn't wear it on turf, which typically eats boots up, but I did wear it on a pretty bad pitch for an hour and a half, and these boots did not crack. The studs seem to be fine. There's no real nicks or dings, anything like that. No tears in the upper, no threads showing. So, you know, durability-wise, I don't have any complaints, and I'm hoping that this is a boot that will last a while. I've seen a few USL Championship players who wear Under Armour boots, and it seems like their boots are lasting them a couple months, which is decent for what we have for boots currently on the markets. It seems they all just fall apart within minutes. The Shadow Elite 2 is what a speed boot is supposed to be. It's lightweight, it has an aggressive sole plate, a lot of snapback, great lockdown, which you're going to want to have if you have a boot built around agility. But the only issue is if you have wide feet. If you have wide feet, you're gonna have a very, very hard time, and it's just not worth it. Probably get a leather boot at that point. But if you have narrow feet, if you like speed boots, especially Vapors, this feels a lot like a Vapor, but with its own touch, I think you'll have a good time wearing this boot. I know you can find some pairs floating around eBay here and there, but you know, it's still a lot cheaper than most of the current speed boots anyways. I would say if you have a chance, wear this boot. Under Armour's been making a lot of big leaps in the game, and if they continue to do this, I think we're gonna continue to be surprised. That's all I have for you guys today. If you like football boot facts, videos, anything like that, please make sure to check out the channel, subscribe, and with that, I will see you guys in the next video.